There's an old Native American proverb which says inside every person there is harmless phosphorescence. Hello, everyone. This is Throw Smiley, and this is my special place. Who's joining me this week?
I'm Josh CC and Solitary, the both of you. Wait. What?
I'm Brian Lesh, and we're trapped in this podcast with this movie, and I hate it.
And I'm Human Tetherball, Alaric Weber.
And he is tied to a pole that we spin him around.
There's a man in Tucson, Arizona. Yeah. Calls himself the Human Tetherball.
This is Harmless Phosphorescence. It's a podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and the source material, then we tell you all about it. This show is brought to you by patrons. Patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. You want to be a patron too? Just go to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. We got a bunch of bonus content there. We got monthly movies. This month we're going to be recording Josie and the Pussycats. That'll be coming out to sometime before September's over. We got a bunch of other monthly movies. We just did Cabin Boy. We've got like Independence Day, two Gremlins movies, bunch of stuff.
The Shining.
Yeah. There's dozens of movie episodes up there, a ton of music episodes, Star Wars movie episodes. So check it out. Patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. $1 a month is all you need to get going. This week on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are watching the New Mutants.
What's the last thing you remember, Danny? He said we had to run. The reason you survived is because you're a very uncommon girl. You're not alone. Not anymore. Do you know what mutants are? Would anyone like to share their first time? Rain?
I was 13. I thought it was a dream. I just lost control.
Sam?
I started panicking. People got hurt.
Roberto?
My girlfriend had burned hair.
Ileana?
I killed 18 men, one by one. This isn't a hospital, it's a cage.
It's important we find out your power so we can help you get better.
I saw something I don't think she wanted me to see. I don't think we're here to get better.
This place takes your greatest fear and makes you live through it until it kills you.
Who's there? We can get out of this together.
The New Mutants. Same as the old Mutants. This was released August 28th, 2020. The running time in 94 minutes. It cost $80 million and it made $49.2 million, which is honestly more than I was expecting for August 2020.
The real statistic I want to know is how many people got COVID seeing this movie?
Right. It was a COVID movie, smack dab in the middle of COVID. August
saying $49 million. Statistically speaking, some of these people got COVID.
Right.
Some of those people probably died.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
It's a lot of money. That's a lot of film goers.
It is.
We were peak pandemic in August.
I mean, what? That's like oh God. So like, that's probably 4 or 5 million people went out to see this movie.
Yeah, man.
Ooh, that's a lot for COVID.
America loves movies.
Which goes to show you, yeah, people really just are really bad at risk assessment.
Yeah, they love Texas Roadhouse too.
I will eat a peanut off the ground.
I mean, that nacho looks good.
I have subscribed to the 24-hour rule. If it's been on the floor longer than that, well,
so
the dog can fight me for it.
Speaking of the box office, guys, you ready to play the box office top 10 game?
Oh no! Yes, I'm ready.
The box office top 10 game for the week of August 28th, 2020. Okay, so this is not nearly as bad or nearly as dead as I thought it was going to be. March through June, there were literally like going through some of the Box Office Mojo pages were literally like 1 to 3 movies in release period. Starting in July, there started to be a bit more. So we've got a full 10 now. And in fact, there were 27 movies in release the week of October 28th.
There's a lot of money on the hook for these production companies, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, some of the movies that were in release. So people went out to see movies such as Killer Raccoons 2, Dark Christmas in the Dark.
What's the first one about? I assume Killer Raccoons. But is it like?
I think it's
is it like a Thanksgiving movie?
Yeah, right.
No, Dark Christmas in the Dark.
Yes.
They mostly come at night, mostly.
Mostly. Bump Kowalski and the 10 Commandments. I
texted the joke for that. See, I'm getting better at controlling myself.
Yeah. But our top 10 this week. This is I will count down the top 10 movies of the week. Using only the Box Office Mojo descriptions, and except of course when I don't do that. And the guys are going to try to guess the movie. You ready to play, fellas?
Yeehaw!
All right,
my elbow.
Here we go. At number
cough into your what?
Into my elbow.
Right. I'm gonna give us the gross for the week for each of these movies too, since it's I
want to know just for my own curiosity.
At number 10 this week, grossing $141,000. Yeah. A zombie virus. Oh no. In 2020, a movie about a zombie virus. Shit. A zombie virus has in the last 4 years spread to all South Korea. 4 Koreans in Hong Kong sail through the blockade to Incheon for $20 million on a truck.
Wow. I saw the trailer for this, and I still haven't seen it, but God, I remember this coming out.
It looks like it is a Korean language film, so I imagine the subtitles are dubbed.
It's almost the same plot as that Zack Snyder movie where they rob Vegas.
Yeah, huh? Yeah, a zombie heist movie. Yeah. It's called Peninsula.
Perfect name for a Korean movie.
Yeah. Yes.
Or a Florida movie.
You're really similar. So.
Like, I'm waiting to see the sequel, Isthmus.
Similar dynamics. The north of Florida is probably more questionable than the south of Florida in some ways.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
At number 9, opening this week at $188,000.
These are paying for the camera rentals at least.
Yeah.
It's funny. I didn't realize there was a spectrum, but like when we say that a movie is made like $3 billion, I always have a reaction. And it's always like, oh my God, that's disgusting. And now whenever I hear anything in the thousands range, I have an immediate reaction I can't control. Like,
yeah, it's almost worse.
As much money as like an FHA loan.
Right.
It's almost worse than a movie making like $85.
Yeah.
144,000.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So,
It's enough people saw it, but like also like not enough people saw it.
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be like, let's just not put the numbers out there.
Didn't we have one from last week that was like $27?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah. $27. The week of COVID, it was $27.
I think we joked. Yeah, you could accidentally make $27.
Yeah. So
by
yeah.
people ringing in the wrong movie.
Yeah. So like two people showed up at the theater and they were like, wonder where everyone is. Oh, The Thing.
Well, we're gonna see it.
I mean, it was
We're
probably
gonna
a
see
safe
close.
viewing
Yeah.
for $27, 3 people.
So all right, opening at number 9 this week. In 1937, 800 Chinese soldiers fight under siege from a warehouse in the middle of the Shanghai battlefield, completely surrounded by the Japanese army. This is another import. This one from China.
Oh wait, you said warehouse?
Warehouse, yeah. Under siege from a warehouse in the middle of the Shanghai battlefield, completely surrounded by the Japanese army. It's a World War II movie from the Chinese perspective.
Like Nanking.
Standoff.
Shanghai.
No, that's not a bad guess, though, Al.
Under siege.
Their SEO would be terrible.
Shanghai.
The fortress.
No, all good guesses. It's
Landlocked. Going with geographic themes.
no. So the key is that it was 800 Chinese soldiers. It's called the 800.
Oh, so it's like 300. But
Yeah, but with
500 more.
yeah, exactly.
Is it more or less fascist propaganda than 300 was?
At number 8 this week. Set after Hurricane Katrina, 4 boyhood friend. Man, what's out in the middle of COVID's crazy. Like a zombie,
Yeah.
like virus
There was nothing
movie.
uplifting.
Hurricane Katrina, like guys. Set after Hurricane Katrina, 4 boyhood friends out of options reluctantly accept an offer to pull off a dangerous heist in the heart of New Orleans. I remember hearing about this movie. I never saw it, but I remember hearing about it.
You could start off the synopsis of most any movies saying post Katrina, even if it's not related to it.
It's
Iron-
either pre
Iron
or
Man.
post,
Yeah, exactly.
or a movie about Katrina.
This movie,
Yeah, she crazy.
this movie stars T.I., Wesley Snipes, Ethan Hawke, Terrence Howard, and Demetrius Shipp Jr.
Another Demetrius
oh,
Shipp
oh,
Jr.
This is written and directed by RZA.
Oh. So it's a heist movie. Waters, like high water.
No, good guess though.
Heck of a job.
Back patters.
The tag for this movie is Desperate Times, Dangerous Measures.
All right, that's a decent tag.
FEMA heist.
FEMA heist. Oh, Superdome.
Oh, that's not bad. The name is about the place.
Third Ward.
No, that would have been good.
That's
though.
a good guess
Fred
too.
Ward.
Fred Ward.
It's like
The entire Fred Ward has been shut down. The Quarter.
no, all good. It's called Cutthroat City.
Okay. I hope it's better than Cutthroat Island.
Yeah. At number 7 this week, with $215,000.
Now we're talking. That's a fifth of a million.
Yeah. after
A
his
shitty home in Tucson.
after his pet is kidnapped, our hero and his best friend embark on an epic adventure to the lost city of Atlantic City to bring him home.
Uh-huh.
It is animated. It is part of a very, very well-known IP. Huge IP.
Transylvania something.
An IP that is not best known for film, but television.
The History Channel's Hitler Gets His Dog Back.
Hitler gets his dog back.
Is that the sequel to Stella?
I didn't know anyone took his dog. All right. No, this is an Addams Family movie, right?
No.
Damn.
No, it is a children's cartoon.
Oh, then I'm with Brian.
It is
Louis versus Hitler getting his dog.
Give me my dog. No, my dad.
Oh.
I have a question to ask, which will shed some light on this. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
There's a SpongeBob movie?
It's the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run. Someone kidnaps Gary, and SpongeBob and Patrick go to Atlantic City to bring him home.
Gary is SpongeBob's
I remember
pet?
now.
Yeah.
I
What?
thought Gary
Yeah.
was like a thinking
It is.
being.
No,
like,
no, he's
like
a-
an independent, has like
He's essentially a cat. I
Yeah,
mean,
he says-
he acts and
He
responds
literally,
like a cat.
literally, all he can say is meow. He doesn't meow. He says the word meow, but he says it in a meow way.
Sometimes
Weird.
like, oh, like, phrases up like a cat.
I have probably not seen an entire episode of SpongeBob.
Wow.
Oh, what?
Yeah, you're. Yeah,
Do
it's
yourself
weird.
a favor.
you were in your late. You were in your like teens when that was on. Getting high. What were you doing, Brian?
I was the target market for it. It was just too frenetic for me, I think. It was just too much going on, too much yelling. The SpongeBob voice gets to me. It's kind of grating.
I'm with
Oh, it
Brian.
is.
I have also never seen a full
Yeah.
episode of SpongeBob.
I know every word to the theme song.
Yeah. I have two kids. I've seen many, many, many episodes of SpongeBob repeatedly.
Yeah, I've probably seen all of them. It was the natural next step from Ren and Stimpy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
I still prefer Ren and Stimpy over, obviously.
So do I, in some ways, yeah.
yeah, Renan. Yeah, in some ways,
But,
for sure.
But yeah, it's nothing but trippy adult humor. SpongeBob himself is voiced by
It's
Tom Kenny, I think.
yeah, Tom Kenny.
Anyways, Bobcat Goldthwait's former comedy partner
Yeah.
for years.
Well,
and
and
Tomcat, Bobcat.
I appreciate any show where they're literally sitting around a fire at the bottom of the sea, and
Yeah.
SpongeBob says to another character, "You have no respect for the realities of physics."
Yep. It's funny. It's a funny show.
Number 6 this week with $629,000. Diagnosed with a mental illness halfway through his senior year of high school, a witty, introspective teen struggles to keep it a secret while falling in love with a brilliant classmate who inspires him to not be defined by his condition.
My
sounds like
brain
he
not
was-
good.
This is some real
It sounds like he was doing fine.
John Green type.
Yeah, I was gonna say like The Fault in Our Stars,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So say the first sentence again, just for a moment.
Diagnosed with a mental illness halfway through his senior year of high school. A witty, introspective teen struggles to keep it a secret while falling in love with a brilliant classmate who inspires him to not be defined by his condition.
Yeah, it
Schizophrenic
sounds like-
romantic picnic. Sounded better in my head. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's called Words on Bathroom Walls.
For a good time, called John.
No, for a thorough psyche, Val. Call Dr.
Love.
Nope, don't call Dr. Love. That's a trap.
Yeah. He's not a real doctor.
Not in the ways you think.
Yeah. He has a doctorate in women's studies.
Just trying to understand.
So much creepier.
Opening this week at number 5 with $663,000. A modern take on a classic tale of a young orphan who is able to triumph over many obstacles.
Batman.
Yeah, Batman.
This stars Dev Patel, Peter Capaldi, Tilda Swinton, and Hugh Laurie.
Oof.
Yeah, very.
A terribly British adventure.
A brown man in London? Like,
The tag is From Rags to Riches and Back Again.
What a journey.
It's based.
Oliver Twist with a twist.
Oh, you're close, Al. It is a Dickens.
Okay.
Oh, David Copperfield.
Yeah, it's called The Personal History of David Copperfield.
huh. And Dev Patel is
David Copperfield.
Is
Yeah,
Copperfield.
it's a modern
Yeah,
that's cool.
a modern retelling. Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah. Might not be bad. Opening this week at number 4 with $1.5 million.
Woohoo.
The Beauties.
There's let's get it open. There we go. Okay. Two friends find them who didn't fulfill their potential as teenagers find themselves as middle-aged dads still trying to fulfill their destiny.
Bill and Ted's.
Yep, Bill and Ted Face the Music.
I love Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. I love Bill and Ted.
Oh
Same.
my God.
What?
Oh, I found Wild Stallions figurines at Bookman's on
Oh, nice.
Friday.
Nice.
Oh, sweet.
They look like they came from an animated show, but I don't think there ever was an animated show.
No, there was a
Or
Bill.
was
And,
there?
there was a Bill
There
and
was,
Ted
yeah.
animated show. Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Uh-huh.
I
Right on.
it was a
I doubt
Saturday.
either of them voiced, but yeah.
I think they did actually. I think they didn't get George
We
Carlin.
should look at it. 'Cause I was gonna say, yeah, but the Rufus character was prominent. I remember the animated Rufus.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's sweet. How much were those figures going for?
Oh, $12
Nice.
in the box.
Yeah. No, they got everybody
Can't
back.
afford not to.
Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, and George Carlin all reprised their roles for the animated series. It ran 21 episodes.
Oh, I'm watching that.
That's top notch.
Yeah. I remember it. It was, just their adventures through time. It came in between Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey. At number 3 this week, with $3,393,000, after a confrontation with an unstable man at an intersection, a woman becomes the target of his rage. Starring Russell Crowe. The tagline is, he can happen to anyone.
But very slowly.
Russell Crowe.
you can outrun Russell Crowe.
Guys, watch out. Russell Crowe can happen to anybody at any time.
Some people believe.
What if he introduces himself that way? Like, hello, I'm Russell.
He seems like an awesome guy. Road Rage?
No. It's a one-word title.
Rage.
Mistake.
A Mel Gibson story.
Mystique.
It says Russell Crowe is unhinged.
All right.
Wait till you see him do a Greek accent.
Opening this week at number 2 with $7,564,000. Fighting for the survival of the entire world, our protagonist journeys through a world of international espionage on an mission that will unfold in something beyond what you expect.
Tenet.
Tenet, yes. Thank you.
Was it? Oh, Bennett?
Tenet.
The Chris
Tenet.
Nolan. I was like,
Yeah.
the description makes no sense like the movie.
Yeah. Fucking Tenet.
They always
When you
point
said-
out
when you-
international espionage as if there's really any other compelling kind. Like Idaho has been
Yeah.
spying on.
Interstate espionage.
Just like, oh shit. You don't even want to know what the Virginians are saying.
Like, beyond that, even intercity espionage. Like San Diego is finding out some secrets about
Yeah.
LA.
Like our sister city, Albuquerque,
Yeah.
comes over here to get ideas. Like coyotes with neckerchiefs. and shit.
It's Coca-Pelli's all the way down.
Always has been.
Yeah, man.
At number one this
Horny
week,
hunchback.
5 with opening to $8,700,000. 5 young mutants just discovering their abilities while held in a secret facility against their will fight to escape their past sins and save themselves.
Backbeat.
So this is the least financially successful Marvel movie.
Period.
Right.
Yes.
Period.
As far, yeah. I mean, absolutely.
Like all the Hulks and Hulks.
Well, I think that, I mean, in my opinion, I think was timing, but
absolutely.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Well, and just development hell and
yes,
Fox
the development
and
hell.
Disney.
Yeah, we'll get into the development hell shortly.
All right.
Because it's not. It was a little more straightforward than it seemed. Like I remember, because it took so long to actually get released that it felt like it was like this crazy set of circumstances, like Justice League level or something. But it was actually a lot more straightforward than that. It was just kind of a couple bad breaks for the film, really. But we'll get to that in a few minutes. In the meantime, though, Al Weber, please give us all the information we need to know about the character and comic book background of these new mutants.
Doctor.
Same as the old mutants.
Small cast, but apart from the dads, like every character came from the comics in this movie.
Yep.
So the New Mutants, they are a group of mutant superheroes appearing in Marvel Comics. The team first appeared in The New Mutants, being the 4th installment in the Marvel graphic novel line, created by Chris Claremont and artist Bob McLeod. That was published in September of 1982.
I think I have that.
Huh.
Sorry.
The New Mutants were originally depicted as being the teenage junior class of mutants at the Xavier Institute. The graphic novels, for obvious reasons, relates the story of how they came together. So they were essentially the junior X-Men. The graphic novel was followed by an ongoing series from 1983 to 1991, at which point the team evolved into X-Force.
Okay.
It has since the title has been brought back for, a couple of times. I think they're on volume 4 now. Let's see. These were the first 2 lines of the plot summary. 5 young mutants are just starting to learn about their powers. All of them have a tragic past.
That's okay. That's like
Wait,
every
so
X-Men movie
You're
ever.
telling me it wasn't a parable about 2 bears?
The 5 original teammates were Wolfsbane, Sunspot, Cannonball, Karma, and Danielle Moonstar. 4 of these original members made it to the big screen. Other members over the years included Shadowcat, Magma, Magic, Warlock, Cypher, Birdbrain, Firefist, Skids.
Skids? Like a kid who shits his pants?
No, I'm sorry. Fire Fist? Yikes.
Yeah. You don't want to try a Fire Fist unless you're with a very trusting partner, by the way.
Yeah, you need a bunch of safe words.
Like
And,
bird
like,
brain.
plastic, like bird brain. That's
Just
my safe word.
X-Men names, mutant names. After like the top 10 of them, it starts getting really like grass nose, table place.
Aw.
Continuing, we had Richter, Boom Boom, Cable was in there for a little while, Warpath, Shatterstar, and Feral.
Yeah, okay.
I always liked Warlock. I kind of wish that, I don't know, we'd seen him.
Oh, we'll get into the production on that.
Yeah, cool. I saw that note, so I'll save it for you, Thoreau. Of the 6 characters in this movie, unless otherwise noted, first appeared in the original graphic novel in 1982. We have Danielle Moonstar. Her first code name was Psyche. I couldn't tell if that was in the original graphic novel or not, but her first code name was Psyche and later Mirage. She is a Native American of the Northern Cheyenne. Her first mutant power manifestation was a vision of her parents being killed by a demonic bear, after which her parents disappear. She is taken in by her grandfather, who is killed when the Hellfire Club attempts to capture her. She was then taken in by Charles Xavier, who had been a close friend of her father. Her psionic powers would develop to include telepathy, danger sense, creating illusions, psionic bow and arrows, bullets and bolts, an empathic link with animals, and the creation of solid objects out of psionic energy. There was one time when, trapped in the Asgardian realm, she freed a winged horse from barbed wire and inadvertently became a Valkyrie.
Inadvertently.
So, like, if you save a sea turtle from a 6-pack holder, you become a sea turtle.
just like that.
It's
Moving on
just
to
like Al's a Scientist books. Just like,
moving on to Rain Sinclair, codename Wolfsbane. She was born in the North Highlands of Scotland. Her mother died in childbirth. As an orphan, Rain was raised by the Presbyterian Reverend Craig. When she realized she was a mutant and revealed herself, Reverend Craig led an angry mob intending to burn her at the stake. Rain was rescued and later adopted by Moira McTaggart, the doctor who had presided over her delivery. Eventually recruited into the Xavier Institute, she joined the New Mutants. In adulthood, she discovered the Reverend Craig was in fact her father, and her mother had been a sex worker.
Dude, 80s Marvel is so dramatic. That is the most soap opera shit ever.
Yep.
mm-hmm.
Rain has the ability to transform into a wolf. Honing her abilities, she can shift herself through the transitional spectrum between human and wolf, resembling a werewolf, but must take care to keep her feral instincts at bay.
Don't want to be humping any legs.
Yeah. Or, waking up in bed with a dead rabbit in your mouth.
Or shitting on the floor.
Next, we have Samuel Zachary Guthrie, codename Cannonball. Sam Guthrie has the ability to propel himself at jet speeds while encased in an impenetrable force field.
Right on.
Born to a large Kentucky coal family, Sam started working in the coal mine as a young boy, attempting to help his family after his father died in the very same coal mine. One day, Sam is trapped in an unironically collapsing mine shaft. Attempting to rescue a fellow worker, his mutant power unconsciously manifests, and he saves the man and himself. Sam was soon after hired by the Hellfire Club to attack the New Mutants, but rebelled against the club when ordered to kill them. Sam was recruited by Xavier to become co-leader of the New Mutants alongside Danielle Moonstar.
Known pederast Charles Xavier.
Next, we have Roberto De Costa, codename Sunspot. Possesses the ability to absorb and channel solar energy. Roberto is the son of a wealthy Afro-Brazilian businessman and a white American archaeologist. A star soccer player at school, taking a brutal beating, his powers manifest for the first time. His girlfriend is killed by the Hellfire Club mercenaries attempting to kill him. He is saved by Karma and Psyche, then joins the New Mutants. His solar energy granted him, in addition to fire, granted him enhanced strength and flight.
His only weakness is SPF 30.
And pools.
In the comics, his parents are Afro-Brazilian, and he's very much light-skinned Brazilian guy.
Yeah, and that's
See,
that was a little bit of controversy in the casting.
We've seen Sunspot previously in Days of Future Past, which came out in 2014. I'm just remembering seeing the character like in full energized mode. He was one of the cooler looking fire characters. You know, you had the Human Torch, pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
And then goofy old Firestorm over at DC with the fire
hairdo,
the fire hat, fire hair. But Sunspot was really cool, just like just jet black, like with the little fire things around him. I don't know. It's just a striking image, as I remember.
Yeah,
I agree.
Then
there
we
were
have
a lot of black and yellow. Sorry, there were a lot of black and yellows in the early scheme. Now that I think about it, mentioning Warlock and what you were just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, bright yellow and bold black.
it was part of their whole bee fetish.
Yeah. Being part of the X-Men adjacent, you couldn't really get away from the yellow.
It's true.
I think. Just you had to have yellow somewhere. Next up, we have Ileana Rasputina. First appeared in Giant Size X-Men #1, which was, true believers, the first showing of the modern X-Men team in May of 1975.
Yep.
Created by Len Wein and Dave Cockrum, Ileana was the younger sister of Colossus, Piotr Rasputin. Her first name was not revealed. Her first name was not revealed until 1981, however, being an infrequently used background character to Colossus's story. In December of 1983, Chris Claremont and Sal Buscema started a 4-issue series titled Magic, parentheses, Ileana and Storm, giving Ileana her first cover appearance and her codename Magic. At around the age of 6, Ileana is taken to the limbo dimension by a sorcerer for evil purposes.
How low can you go?
Her mutant power manifests in limbo, her power being the ability to teleport via stepping discs. Ileana is trained in magic by the sorcerer Belasco and Limbo's version of Storm. She is then kidnapped by Limbo's version of Shadowcat and trained in hand-to-hand and sword combat.
So Limbo is an alternate, like, plane, like another dimension, where the same characters exist.
It appears that way, yes.
Interesting. Less liminal.
Ileana creates the Soul Sword and takes over Limbo as its new ruler. She returns to Earth after aging 10 years, though no time has passed on Earth since her initial kidnapping. A mystical armor begins to appear on her body each time she uses the Soul Sword, first only on her arm, but growing with each use of the sword. It was immediately after the 4-issue series that she joined the New Mutants storyline. I really only scratched the surface on this character. There's a lot. She's changed a lot over the years. A lot of different personas, I suppose, and developments throughout the decades since. But moving on to Dr. Cecilia Reyes, a relative latecomer character. First appeared in X-Men number 65, June of 1997. Created by Scott Lobdell and Carlos Pacheco, a Puerto Rican medical doctor specializing in trauma surgery. She has the ability to project a force field around her body. She was briefly a member of the X-Men, but has no interest in superheroics, desiring only to live a normal life. She would help out the X-Men from time to time, but her initial run with them was not really her choice.
She mostly helped out by doing some grocery shopping here and there.
Babysitting.
Babysitting, exactly.
And she's not a villain. She's not a complex character morally in the comics, right?
No, not that I saw. And doing the comic book research, I almost forgot Lockheed.
Oh, yeah.
Created by Chris Claremont and Paul Smith. First appeared in The Uncanny X-Men number 166, February of 1983. A cat-sized purple alien dragon and longtime companion of Kitty Pryde.
Yep. And then a member of Excalibur?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
I didn't mind having Lockheed and no Kitty Pryde. I was so happy to see Lockheed in this movie.
I was looking up Mr. Sinister, the Essex Corporation, and there was a quick blurb I read about Kitty giving Ileana a stuffed Lockheed. Or something like that. Should have looked.
I don't know about the stuffed Lockheed. From what I saw, there was a when Ileana was still a child, not all grown up. Kitty Pryde was telling her a story, a bedtime story, and she made up, basing it on characters from the X-Men. It was sort of a fairy tale thing, and told her about part of the story was a dragon named Lockheed, which was the name came from the Blackbird, that style of plane.
The plane manufacturer, Lockheed.
Yeah, Lockheed Martin. I didn't see anything about a stuffed animal, but
the stuffed was my bad.
They had Lockheed mounted and stuffed. After some time in passing.
No, the stuff thing was a device for this movie, I believe, which I still think was well done.
Same.
Yeah, I think it was great. As I always wondered if they were going to do it in a live action movie, and this was fine.
Yeah,
better than an alien unexplained.
Yes.
And again, the most alluded to villain in all of the X-Men movies that just we've never seen, Mr. Sinister.
Right. So that Al, is that a wrap?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Unless you want me to go over the demonic Winnie the Pooh.
Please, can we talk about the bear?
Other than
I like the bear.
Other than previously mentioned, I don't have anything on the bear.
The bear was not originally
Bears get enough.
A construct that she created. It was an external thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an actual bear called Demon Bear.
Well, it was an actual demon bear.
Yeah. Yeah. Not an actual bear.
It wasn't just a regular bear that they called.
Let's get
bear.
our facts straight here, folks.
Yeah.
An actual demon bear.
Yes. Not a made up demon bear. Like
this is your grandfather's demon bear.
All right. Well, thank you, Al, for that. For the character comic book background. That brings us to the production. So, a New Mutants film was originally announced to be in development in 2009. It's one of those things. Some 20th Century Fox executive is like that happens constantly. They announce we're making this movie and then they don't for like years and years and years. That's nothing new. They did nothing until 2015. Our director Josh Boone approached Simon Kinberg, the producer of the X-Men series, and pitched his idea for the New Mutants, his New Mutants film. Josh Boone is probably best known for directing The Fault in Our Stars.
Okay.
He also was the showrunner, writer, director, executive producer for the recent Stand series. So additionally, like, yeah, he did none of his other movies are really well known. He did something called Stuck in Love, All We Had. He was just a writer on that. Yeah.
So horror and YA are things that, I mean, not that The Stand is horror, but
yeah, it's in that realm for sure. Yeah.
I mean, The Fault in Our Stars, that translates to this.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Absolutely. His pitch was that they do it as a straight up R-rated horror film. They bought it and they put a writer's room on writing. So some of the technically the written by credits go to only Josh Boone and Nate Lee. Nate Lee, in addition to this, also has writing credit on Bad Grandpa, Jackass 3, and something called Cardboard Boxer with Terrence Howard.
I'm sorry, those movies were written?
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, but let's see. Our uncredited writers here. Let's see. Scott Frank, who was a writer on Logan and Out of Sight. Chad and Carrie Hughes, who wrote a bunch of the Conjuring stuff. Carrie Hayes was a partner. He also did a bunch of Conjuring stuff. Seth Graham Smith, who wrote Pride and Prejudice and Zombies and Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. All of them have uncredited writing on this. So it sounds like
they were really trying to thread the needle with like the YA and horror thing with the people that they brought in their room.
Absolutely. Now, what Josh Boone said he was looking for was something that was a more horror-centric version of The Breakfast Club. He said it was Dream Warriors, which we did an episode on, patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. He said was a big influence on it. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, I read
had
that.
some influence. So
The Shining.
The Shining. Yeah. Well,
Something I saw.
Well, he said that some of his favorite horror films were the older ones: Rosemary's Baby, Exorcist, The Shining. Those were the ones that he really grew up on and enjoyed.
And really psychological.
Tonal.
Yes,
Yeah.
tonally.
Horror.
Yeah.
The note that I saw had One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Dream Warriors and The Shining, because they all take place in like one locale.
Yeah.
That kind of thematic thing. Also on that list was The Breakfast Club.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can really see these influences. They said they were shooting for something in the vein of Deadpool, in that it would be an R-rated kind of standalone thing within the X universe, not tonally like Deadpool, but conceptually related to the rest of the X universe in the same way.
Stepping out of the standard box.
Yes. and doing something that was that was a film unto itself outside of whatever the X-Men were doing.
But is it though?
I mean,
the last two X-Men movies were pretty disappointing, and I think they needed to get away from like characters in uniforms matching. I don't know.
The one reason I ask is because we see footage from Logan in this movie,
right?
Which is bonkers to me.
And that was one of the few things left in. So, okay. I mean,
all right,
I think we kind of have a number of different opinions on this movie, which is interesting because it's not our normal setup of different opinions usually. But I'm kind of personally a sucker for supernatural teen melodrama. I'm a big Buffy fan. Love all the 80s. Like, I love all of the Nightmares movies. Like I'm a sucker for those. So this was kind of right up my alley.
Even the non-horror, the Goonies, a Pack of Kids on Bikes. Like we grew up with that imagery of a small group of friends.
But then also the teen melodrama side, like Buffy, Life is Strange, CW stuff.
Yeah, they shot up Buffy in this.
Oh yeah, big time. So I'm a sucker for all that. But if that's not up your alley, I can see how this movie might be a little hard for you.
I will say I like all of those things to some extent. They're not my favorite things necessarily, but I think that this movie suffers from being full of half measures.
It does.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt. But yes. I absolutely agree. I think it's 75% of what, maybe 65% of what it probably was meant to be.
Well, and I think that every element does not reach. None of the elements of this movie reach their full potential in any way that works for me.
Right. And so, okay. So
show us on the puppet where this movie disappointed you.
Oh, it's on the bear. It's right on the bear.
Shows on the bear.
Right here on the bear.
That's awesome.
So, all right. So for the development, it was pitched. They started doing a writing room. They started casting. And then, let's see, they started doing pre-production. That was all through 2016. They were writing and casting all through 2016. In 2017, they started pre-production for filming, scouting. They shot at Medfield State Hospital, which is where they shot Shutter Island. And they originally scheduled it for release April 13th, 2018. They began filming in July 2017. Their working title was Growing Pains.
No, more facts of life, if you ask me.
Right.
You take the good, you take the bad.
They made it a point to make absolutely certain that Moonstar was played by an actual Native American actress. So,
good for them.
And well, I mean, yeah, it is. Like with the amount of whitewashing that's happened in films,
it was the phrasing of that, like the pain stick. Like,
it would have been really great if they hadn't used an evangelical parable for her character's defining.
Yeah.
Trait and
arc, good and evil. What are they? I mean, that's all we got.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there.
So, they shot the film over the course of a couple months there in the middle of 2017. And then they started, they put together an initial cut. In the writing room, they took out a lot of the horror elements. They said they wanted it to be more young adult, less horror than Josh Boone originally was wanting to make. And they did that because of Fant Four Stick. They thought Fant Four Stick failed because it was too many horror elements, which just goes to show you movie executives are dumb as fuck.
Yeah, maybe that sort of explains what Brian was saying about the half measures.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like he probably pulled the trigger on a few things that he wasn't able to then put in.
Yeah.
So Thoreau, according to the original proposed release date, it would have come out before Dark Phoenix.
Yes.
Okay. Oh,
originally it would have. But so all right, they cut it together. They showed it to screenings. It did pretty well. But they decided in January 2018 to push it back to February 2019. This was to avoid Deadpool 2, which was coming out close to that time in 2018.
They probably should have released this next to it.
Yeah.
And just said, like Deadpool, this is different.
Mm-hmm. Probably would have done much. I mean, it absolutely would have done much better than August 2020.
But, you know,
yeah.
COVID aside, I think it would have been a better idea to package this with Deadpool.
In March 2018, in order to make a space for Dark Phoenix in 2019, they pushed it back to August 2019. And then in June of 2018, it was announced that Disney was purchasing Fox Studios. They were planning on doing reshoots throughout the summer of 2018. After the Fox acquisition was announced, all reshoots were canceled. And Disney looked at the footage, said they weren't impressed, and said that they were going to make some changes. So they did do a few reshoots at the end of 2019. They were going to release it in April of 2020 then. So it basically got delayed. It got delayed. They kept pushing it back so that it didn't interfere with releases that they thought were going to be bigger movies, Dark Phoenix and Deadpool 2. Then the Disney acquisition pushed it back a further year because Disney basically had to come in and say, all right, we're going to do this and this with it. And then COVID happened and it got pushed back another 6 months. So it wasn't so much that it was development hell or production hell or anything with the film itself. It was just a little movie that the executives didn't think was going to do enough business to bother too much with, that kept getting pushed back to make space for bigger movies, and then the acquisition and then COVID. That's what made it take 5 years to get this movie released.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. So originally, in some of the original draft, let's see. It was going. Professor X was going to be in it. Warlock was going to be in it.
McAvoy or Stewart? Do we know?
McAvoy.
Wait, and this is in the modern era.
It was to be set in the 80s.
Oh.
After Dark Phoenix was, after Age of Apocalypse was met with tepid response, they said change it to the modern era. But that was already...
This would have been great as an 80s or 90s movie.
Mm-hmm.
It almost is.
It basically is. He said they had to do the tweaks they had to make to change it from the 80s to the modern era were like extremely small. He said they hardly changed anything.
Buffy?
They put in some Buffy. There's a shot with a cell phone. They updated the computer tech. Like, there was really nothing plot-wise they had to change at all. Yeah. So, yes, originally, let's see. Warpath was supposed to be in it. Sunspot was, of course, yeah. Let's see.
Is Warpath a native character? I forget who Warpath is.
Yes.
Yes, he is, which is That's not a great name for a native character, honestly.
But interesting that they almost had two native characters in the movie.
Yeah.
Warpath's code name before Warpath was Thunderbird.
That's a way cooler name.
Yeah. Storm was going to be in it for a little while. And then during filming, as you guys know, this had no post-credit sequences. They shot 2 and cut them out. One included Mr. Sinister, played by John Hamm.
Okay.
That could have been cool.
It was no makeup Mr. Sinister too, right? He was just a suit.
Yeah, that's my understanding. Yeah. And the other included Antonio Banderas as Emmanuel De Costa, the father, Sunspot's dad.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's 2 big name dudes to just leave on the cutting room floor. Did they film those scenes?
They filmed them and then cut them out.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a shame. Oh, there is a version with bonus footage. I noticed. I couldn't rent it.
Yeah.
They only wanted me to buy it.
Yeah,
but I wonder if
exactly.
any-
I watched all the deleted scenes on YouTube.
John Hamm apparently was also going to appear as Mr. Sinister in the canceled Gambit movie.
That's great casting.
Yeah, he looks just like Mr. Sinister. Yeah. I would love to see him with
British royalty and
with
like
long hair too. Would be real interesting. Plus the pasty white skin.
Yeah.
Even without that, even if they
or
didn't
without
do
it.
that, but like, yeah.
I would hope that they would though.
The character has a fascinating story that's like, as far as time goes, it's like Apocalypse. His age is sort of vague. It's cool.
So, so basically that's the story of the film. It was he never got to make it as R-rated or horror focused as he wanted to. It retained a fair amount of the YA elements he wanted to put in there. But it was all watered down by the studios, 2 different studios. Each watered it down.
Thoreau, what about Warlock?
Warlock was written out. He was originally in the original script, but then just written out.
He was slated to be portrayed by Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
That's what.
That's 3 incredible actors.
Yeah, man, they had a version of this movie that rules.
And he was basically written out because the budget wouldn't allow to accurately depict Warlock's visage and powers.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that was the thing. This was always a small movie, and the executives treated it like it was not worth their time. Or
it was a small movie with big dreams.
Yeah.
There are 7 people in this movie, and Adam Beach is only in this movie for about 15 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, they originally, when he pitched it as a trilogy. And I've seen some people online saying that it feels like a pilot that
feels like a television show.
That's because it was written and filmed to be the first of three movies. The second movie was supposed to take place. They were going to go to Brazil, meet Antonio Banderas, do some stuff there. And then the final movie was supposed to have them actually become involved with the X-Men.
Probably fight Mr. Sinister too.
Yeah.
Find a way to all that together to have a Mr. Sinister villain. God, that'd have been so cool.
Yeah. So that's about where that basically covers it for the production background. All that said, I know that's not the opinion everyone holds on here, but I basically dug the movie.
Same here. That's what I remembered, and this was the second time I watched it, and yeah, feel the same way. Especially after Apocalypse.
Fair.
I liked it
And
way better than
Phoenix.
Apocalypse or Phoenix. I liked it better than at least 4 of the X-Men movies.
Oh, I don't disagree with that at all. Definitely not.
It definitely has its faults. It's not a home run, but it's a solid double. I don't know.
It sounds like there is a version of this movie. It's so frustrating when that happens. You know,
We hear
it's one
that-
thing if they just don't shoot the good shit, but if they shoot it and then it's just shelved, it's so frustrating.
Well,
That's the frustrating. This is kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy. This is an unknown team that they just floated a movie with. This could have been incredible because the potential is limitless.
if they had put the full backing of the studio behind it to make the vision and to like make it what they were wanting to make, I think it would have been far more successful. Yeah. Which we hear that time and again, like studio executives not understanding what it is they have and not understanding what makes it successful or not.
Those meddling execs, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's an industry that's never been able to separate the creatives from the bean counters.
Oh yeah,
You
we're
know,
seeing
like,
that Warner
They
Brothers.
both have the same place at the table.
Yeah, right
That
right
makes
now
no sense in art.
Warner Brothers was basically taken over by just the bean counters, and wow, that's that situation.
Yeah, the most intense bean counter, Mickey Mouse, that iron glove.
This movie does not have 20th Century Fox as its production whatever
No.
slate thing. It's 20th Century Studios.
Right, because that's what Disney changed it to.
So
Yeah,
weird.
Yeah. Yeah, no Fox, only 20th Century. Which were okay. It has 30.
Which it's 2022.
Yeah, it's
We're in
been,
the 21st century.
yeah, we've been in for a while now. We've been in the 21st. This movie has 35% on Rotten Tomatoes. I have a few letterboxed reviews. Rhea just writes gay, 5 stars.
Yeah. I love it.
That was a positive review.
Choke Airy 71 writes superb and gay, 5 stars.
Oh, keep them coming, dude. This is making
Yeah.
my morning.
Just give us more fabulous adjectives.
So there, almost every single review, both positive and negative, was just about the gay relationship at the center of the film, which we didn't even mention yet. But that was also huge. We had a diverse cast. We had the central romance being an LGBTQ romance. Like,
Yeah, that's brave considering how much the Chinese markets control
Yeah.
content.
absolutely.
There are more women than men in this movie
Yes.
that speak. There's a mind full of dudes we'll get to, but
Yeah.
Mine.
We-
Merman,
We
Dad.
got binders full of women and minds full of men.
It's fucking diverse as fuck up in this
Back-
mental hospital.
back to where you belong, the coal mines. Yeah.
Fucking coal mine.
Natek writes, don't waste your time on this movie. Do not. It doesn't even relate to the X-Men universe, even though they try to connect it to Logan in the stupidest way. And this movie is easily the worst woke bullshit in the franchise. Don't watch it. Trust me.
I'm just disappointed they didn't slip the word gay in there, because I would have been like, yeah, gay.
No, previously gay has been used in positive review. The first two, those were 5-star reviews.
Right. Zian13 writes, oh, Christian 13, Xian. Christian 13 writes, great movie if you can get past the beginning, middle, and end of it. The film
Sorry.
the film
New hero.
fell about 1,000 yards from entertaining me in the slightest. Wasted an hour and a half of my life on this steaming pile of woke. It's like canon has become completely irrelevant in all of these superhero movies. Half a star.
So, the entire concept of woke on both sides is confusing. Nobody's ever been able to articulate it. But it's like, what about an X-Men? I just don't understand where these characters in this universe need to stay in some sort of conservative,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? I don't know.
And comic
Like,
books
woke-
have been comic books have been pretty gay for a long time.
There's not much gayer than dudes in spandex putting hands on each other.
Well, and a superhero group formed as a reaction to the civil rights struggle, and it was woke from the moment Stan Lee woke up and thought of the fucking idea. Like, I mean, nobody came around. They're like, let's have different races and sexualities be mutants. Like, oh yeah, let's, since 1964 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
woke bullshit.
The X-Men movies are nothing but metaphors for like being gay or like being different.
Being victimized or supplicated by society. Yeah, just being under the heel.
Iceman's whole conversation with his family.
Oh my God.
Can't you change? Can't you just be not a mutant?
Right. So who was what idiot was watching these other movies and reading these other books and seeing a clear 1950s conservative patriotic agenda, then suddenly
these are the same people that thought the Colbert Report was like straightforward.
Real. Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Also, Deadpool's gay as fuck, and these same people probably loved that movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Speaking of woke, I read a hilarious joke yesterday. Did you guys hear the new queen is going to be a dude? I mean, this woke shit is getting too fucking out of control.
Hey, long live Queen Charles!
Yeah, I heard J.K. Rowling was very upset.
Very upset. Queen. All right, great reviews. Those were good reviews.
So, all right, yeah, that brings us to the film itself, guys. You ready to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Cannonball coming.
Cannonball coming.
Here we go. This is The New Mutants. We open with a voiceover because I'm pretty sure that's contractually obliged in X-Men movies.
Yeah, they are the pearls of the X-Men universe.
My God.
I'm surprised we didn't get a CGI three-dimensional
synapses.
No, just spinning through the hospital and just like touring the hospital.
Oh God.
I was picturing like the DNA strands. Bryan Singer made us watch.
But I imagine them going through the air ducts and then through the hallways and then like out of toilet, whatever. And out of a shower or into the toilet and out the shower. Yeah. That's what I would have done for an opening title sequence for this movie.
Plumbers are like, that's not how you connect a U-joint double bill.
Definitely don't flush while someone's showering in this place.
No. So it explains the two bears Native American proverb thing.
And I'm gonna stop us right here. So everybody's aware of this, right? As an internet meme and trope. Inside every person, there are two wolves. One is mean and one is not mean. Which one wins? The one you feed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
They take it and they twist it to the bear thing. Cool, right? That's
the
so
bears.
Cool.
The bears.
We are meant to take this as a Native American parable.
Mm-hmm.
It is a popular legend of unknown origin, sometimes attributed to Cherokee or Lenape people. The first documented origin of this story is from a reverend. There's another one from a Baptist pastor, like a Presbyterian, talking about two dogs, and they are attributing it to a vague legend. So this is totally a white Christian story that is made up to sound Native American. And these motherfuckers took the bait.
Well, it's literally the yin yang, though.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
But it's just...
Are you talking about the motif, the icons, that they were bears?
Well,
because, Eastern philosophy has that all over.
Not even that they're bears. The idea that they did not take an existing thing that's attributable to her culture, like the
Crow movies, like they did.
Yeah, the representation is just so thin. It sucks so bad that this is like a Pinterest inspirational poster.
Yeah, it's sloppy.
That they hung the entire movie's plot on.
Sure,
they bookend the movie with. They say it twice.
Well, I mean.
But is the plot based on that? She's just
I mean, the climax of the movie, there is a bear in it, which also we'll get to when we get there. Because
No, but I'm talking about what you're talking about. Two bears inside us, the metaphor.
Yeah,
the
one that's mean and the one that's good, and she ends up choosing the one that's good to save the day, I guess.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it.
That's
No,
good and evil. Yeah.
But
well, and good and evil's fine, and there's all kinds of interesting parables about this kind of thing. But this is totally one that's based in like white Christian appropriating the idea of like native parables about wildlife and applying it to a sermon. And then this movie comes along 50 years later. Like the first written attribution is like 62. That's where my beef is with this. Like, why is this the thing? Damn.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't seem. I mean, I don't know. There are literal story. Well, okay, there are constellations named after the bears. The seven sisters that are in the sky.
Ursa Major, Ursa Minor. Yeah.
But the story about the two animals the parable that there's two living inside a person and which one you feed comes from a Christian. Like,
yes,
is what
that's and just the whole idea, like, not to unpack all of this through like, you know, colonization and decolonizing identity in media, but like it just sucks to have like a Christian idea coming out of a native character's mouth. Like, damn, I Googled that and it took me like 15 seconds to figure that out. It's a shame that the writer's room of all these brilliant people didn't go like, maybe we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, but I mean, they're also.
I think I'm just not following, perhaps.
There's also a bunch of lazy. I don't know how lazy, but a bunch of white dudes making a superhero movie. Honestly, we're lucky that they even cast a native actress, considering what happened in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yes, we'll take what we can get, but yeah, it's just after watching like Prey.
I think she also says my father told me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and it's Adam Beach, who is like the one of the great native actors.
Yeah, but you see that is different than. Well, does it say legend? I'll have to look. Like, does it do like the Crow movie bullshit? I mean, I think she says her dad.
Her father tells, but that's the idea, is that her father is passing down this ancient parable from his culture. And
the very first line is, there's an old Native American proverb that says blankety blank.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I was like, blankety blank. That's a pretty shitty proverb.
Okay. Well,
sorry,
it just came up with that, huh?
Inside every person is a good Winnie the Pooh and an evil Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
So
which we're gonna get that movie.
Yeah, evil Pooh.
So all right, we cut to a young girl.
That sounds like a Crohn's movie.
So we cut to Danny. She's waking up. Her and her dad are fleeing their trailer and where they live on the reservation. Is something apocalyptic's happening all around. Her dad hides. It's snowing. There's wind. Things are flying everywhere. Explosions. Her dad hides her in the woods. Goes back to help the others in their community. He dies. She runs and falls down, knocked unconscious as a growling, unseen thing comes after her.
This made me think of you, Josh, with the boardroom and what's the other trope? Balls.
Oh,
like a ball. Oh, like galas in boardrooms.
Oh, yes,
The falling down a hill and bonking your head at the bottom is almost as prominent as those two.
Oh, tropes. God, yeah, and not just in superhero movies. Any movie where someone's running from something in the woods, they're gonna fall down.
Any teen coming of age story, I feel like, that is not on flat ground has this happen in it.
Well, yes, in so many horror movies, the real villain is gravity, and we don't fucking acknowledge it. If I could have just kept running, it would have been great.
I immediately thought, as you wish.
Rolling down.
Let's see. She wakes up handcuffed to a hospital bed. She meets Dr.
Same.
Yeah. If I had a dime. She meets Dr. Reyes, who tells her that she's a mutant. Everyone in her community is dead except her from the tornado. And she has to stay there in the hospital until she can learn about her powers and learn to control them. She doesn't know what her powers are. The next day, the timeline in this movie is so like we cut so much stuff out because like she wakes up, they have a conversation, then she goes to bed. The next day, she's introduced to her fellow residents, Ileana, Rain, Sam, and Bobby. Bobby. Rain describes for the group her first time experiencing her mutant powers because this is apparently the first time anyone's asked how they got their mutant powers the whole time they've been in the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of first time conversations.
Yeah, the performative. We all have to meet each other again for the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
I just loved how long they did the YA linger on Maisie Williams and then linger on our main character.
Oh, God, yeah. They were broadcasting from the get-go. Like, it's like, I don't want to wait for our life to be over. Yeah. Yeah, so
I just wish they had done that with every character, so we would have had the romantic tension in the room with all five of them.
All five of it. It's a five pull. I don't.
It's an orgy at that point. Yeah. I don't
know. So Rain describes for the group her first time experiencing her mutant powers. She told a priest, and it didn't go well. He burned a W into her. Is she Irish or Scottish? The accent was a little shaky.
She's
I think
Irish.
she can't decide.
Okay.
I did think Irish most of the time, but there were times where I was like, what is this voice, though? What is it?
Right. And she comes from those islands, so I thought she would have been a little better. But anyways, still not as
It was
bad.
definitely not a Scottish accent.
Okay.
Definitely not.
It was just shaky. It was shaky enough that I was questioning a few times, like, is that Irish?
I think she was just speaking very softly. Very soft spoken.
Yeah. She still did better than her sister.
A
sisters.
little bit of a ghoul.
Yeah. She still did better than her sister Sansa did with an American in Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, that's right. We got both of them.
Got both the Stark girls in the X universe.
There was a stark difference between their accents for sure.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the casting. I skipped the casting.
Is that okay? It's okay, right?
It's okay. But yeah, Maisie Williams plays Rain. Anya Taylor-Joy, a.k.a. Sid the Sloth, plays Ileana. Charlie Heaton plays Cannonball, best known, of course, as from Stranger Things.
Jonathan.
Hunt. Yeah, Jonathan from Stranger Things. Blue Hunt. The other thing she's is Moon's Danny. She is also in the originals and Another Life, which are both sci-fi teen dramas. Well, Another Life.
Say something interesting about the billing at the very end of this movie. She was like sixth billed.
Yeah.
That was really frustrating to me.
That was 100% like actors, agents getting like, yeah. Henry Zaga played Bobby. Let's see. It was Chris Claremont said that he was very disappointed in Bobby's casting because he was written as a mixed race Brazilian, so a dark-skinned Brazilian. Henry Zaga is an actual Brazilian, but he's very light-skinned. Adam Beach.
I mean, it's essentially like a cast thing too.
Yeah.
Which is a really bummer.
Yeah. So
you know what? Cast with an E at the end.
Yes. And of course, Alice Braga played Cecilia Reyes. She's also Brazilian. City of God, Lower City, Only God Knows. She's only in movies that have city or God in the title.
God or city. She's a city planner for God.
Yeah. So anyway,
God.
Yeah, that's our cast. It's small, so luckily that didn't take long. So
and Adam Beach.
And Adam Beach as the dad for 15 fabulous seconds. Yeah.
Arguably the most famous person in this movie, sadly.
Yeah, strangely. Since, when this was made, Anya Taylor-Joy was unknown, basically.
She was from Split at this point.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like for half a minute there was a star-studded cast. I'm sure once a lot of those other names, John Hamm, Sacha Baron Cohen, and Antonio James Mack, they cut those names off, and they're like, who really does come first now?
Yeah.
I want to, now that you mentioned this, the star-studded cast and have we commented on the fact that this hospital is employing only one person?
Right.
There are no extras in this movie except for in the mine.
Yeah. This is an extremely small cast.
And the Smiley Men.
Though I don't know if those even existed. I think they may have been pure CGI.
Probably, but they were mocap. There was a mocap actor and voiced by Marilyn Manson.
Oh, that's right. Because Marilyn Manson, there's a over the credits. There's Cry Little Sister, Marilyn Manson's version of Cry Little Sister from The Lost Boys. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. So, all right. So Dr. Reyes makes Ileana show Danny around, takes her outside, spray paints some graffiti because she's the bad girl. Then Ileana tricks Danny into trying to run away. Danny runs. She's followed by a wolf, and she smacks into an invisible force field. Ileana laughs and tells her they're prisoners there. Danny tries to attack her, and Ileana teleports away. She essentially has teleport powers. We find later she goes to limbo, and then back out. But she does ostensibly have teleport powers.
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make a point of that. So,
like, she can't teleport past the force field kind of thing?
I'm willing to accept that. Like, maybe the force field, like, disrupts her powers. Like, I can accept that. It's magic, countering magic, whatever. She can't teleport outside of her room, though, later on.
Yeah. I have a lot of questions about the teleportation.
Yeah, that's a good
of her
point.
powers.
Yeah.
They put her in solitary confinement.
Yeah, but yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I suppose that's something they're building to subtextually, is that they're prisoners in so much as they allow themselves to be prisoners.
I mean,
when
ultimately,
they flip that switch in their. But I don't know if I'm giving it that much credit, even.
Yeah. Ultimately, that's true. Like, once they decide to turn on Dr. Reyes, she had no chance in hell. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's the same as Attica. I mean, they have mutant abilities. Yeah. It's not just like a sit-in the cafeteria. But
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Danny goes to the top of the clock tower. She breaks the clock, which is, that's not nice.
Well, thank goodness, because that's how she gets back to the future.
Yeah. She's gonna jump
clock tower.
Yeah, she's gonna jump to her death, but Rain shows up and talks her down. They see Sam in the yard. He's blasting around. He's also from Kentucky and does his accent.
Boy, is he, yeah.
He's tether training.
Yeah.
This scene sets up something that does not happen.
Which is him.
He can fly.
Yeah. No, he never.
He can fly.
I can sing.
This man can fly.
Yes, he can fly. But later on, he doesn't. He just blasts himself around
He
halls.
just walks fast the rest of this movie.
Yeah.
He has cooler powers than Quicksilver in the sense of the fact that, like, he doesn't need to step on stuff.
I think it's a part of that metaphor for the, puberty and teenagers and changing. You don't realize you have power and agency until you one day do.
He's feeding the wrong bear.
Yeah. I mean, like, bad bear metaphors aside, I feel like this movie handled the teen metaphor of the X powers as well as or better than any other previous X movie.
Except for maybe Rogue.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue, yeah. I mean, let's be fair, none of these are subtle in their teen metaphors. Or they've never been subtle.
No, right.
But Sam flies at the end.
When he's fighting the bear, he flies around a bit.
Kind of.
Yes.
But like inside a
they
room.
Eventually start to take.
They're like inside a room though. They're in the church and he's like that's the thing. He's just jumping. Like I want him to, he can fly. He's tied to a rock. They're inside a dome. I would have loved a Homer Simpson spin around the dome to fight the bear or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just saying he spins around in circles going so fast and we don't see any like satisfying conclusion to that setup.
They did
in my mind.
But how much of childhood is not doing certain things because you don't think you're allowed to do them?
That's fair.
That just like is a subconscious thing, and it get, not things that you've been expressly told not to do, but just other gray areas where it's just like, should I walk out of the room? They told me I can't leave till 3. I don't want to get into trouble. I guess I'll sit here. You know what I mean? They all have to come to this point where they're like, I'm not going to be trapped anymore, and I'm not going to let this broad with a syringe tell me what to do.
Yeah.
It's the teen movie kind of thing.
So, all right, they go to the cafeteria. Rain gives Danny the whole tour, tells her about Roberto. He's a rich kid from Brazil. They don't know what his powers are. Later, Danny and Rain say goodnight to each other with lingering camera movements. Taut, lingering camera movements.
AKA woke bullshit.
Yeah. You're muted, Brian. Anyways.
Just saying soft strings in the background.
Yeah, exactly.
And people weren't upset that it was the same sex couple. It's that it was a wolf and a bear.
Oh, God. It's so much worse than I thought. Everyone knows wolves and bears can't be friends.
Yeah. What's next? 2 men getting married? First wolves and bears.
Then dogs and cats are going to be getting along. We see that night that Dr. Reyes watches them all the time on a security system with a computer that analyzes their every move, or maybe she's getting messages from outside on the computer. It's kind of unclear.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Sinister's actually watching everything.
That makes sense, considering they actually shot the scene. That's probably what was happening.
But
I got big mother vibes from the computer station. Where she's constantly having to report back, and like it just felt kind of like Alien, where
yeah, I could see that
the computer is making her make bad decisions.
Don't blame me, blame the computer. That night, Danny dreams of his father's death. Sam in the laundry room has a nightmare vision of his dad in the coal mines.
Merman, Dad. I can't help but zoom into it every time. Everybody's working for the weekend.
And the dad had that same disappointed look on his face.
Yeah,
he didn't look like, oh, I'm working with my kid. He was like, why are you in this mine?
Yeah.
Why is anyone in a mine? We get what we deserve. Coal mining is ridiculous.
Well,
fuck us and fuck this.
His glasses were broken, and he's got some blood on his face, and he says, why did you do that, or something like that, or what did you do?
Oh, blue steel.
So he says something accusatory.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, obviously, not to ruin the reveal later, but it's very subtly implied that Sam, through his powers, may have done something destructive to his father.
And the other miners.
Yes.
Tale as old as time.
Of course they're miners. They look like they're about 10. Miners, not miners.
Yeah. So yeah, I would also point out again that this is another British dude doing a terrible American accent. This time a Kentucky.
Doing a southern accent.
Yeah, huh?
Well,
a terrible southern accent.
Eastern Kentucky.
The entire time
He's not as far off, but it is
he's
pretty
not.
bad.
But after his first line with that accent, the entire time watching it, me and Jude were just like, well, wait one cotton pick a minute. Well, I swear, boy, I swear.
Yeah, he sounds like Cletus. Like,
or he's about the foghorn leghorn.
It doesn't have that southern drawl. No, it doesn't necessarily have, but it has the whoop, the whoop.
Well, wait one cotton picking frickin' fracking minute.
Yes, exactly. The Hatfield McCoy, coal mining Appalachian. Yep. Cletus, the slack-jawed yokel.
The next day, there's some major flirting between Danny and Rain in the communal showers.
Why? Why are these children showering together?
I don't know.
I don't know. That's the least of their problems.
Yeah, it's just because there's only one adult, I guess.
Because it's a hospital. Because it's a psych hospital.
So this we'll get back to this, but at some point we get our Breakfast Club moment. These children were showering together.
Right.
They've been like getting to know each other this whole time.
Yeah.
Why did that have to happen? We'll get there, but like,
well, and they
I don't know. Why'd we have to do it in gym? It's always seemed cruel and pointless.
Numerous times.
That dehumanizing element that's important to breaking the spirit.
Yeah, actually, that's
a young person.
That's fair. As a teenager, I did have to shower with a bunch of other dudes a number of times, day after day.
It's part of the experience, I guess.
But
I guess.
Yeah, no, later on they do that again, the getting to know each other, even though, except for Danny, they've all been here together for quite a while, it seems. Yeah, so...
Yeah, and it's that situation where, like, she's explaining, Rain's explaining Sam out on the basketball court when he's tethered there, and then it cuts, and they're in the cafeteria, Sam is there eating, same conversation. Like, it's not like, repeated again. Like, it's continuing. They've had the conversation too when they went inside. They got their trays of food, you know.
Guys, she stopped talking immediately after they walked inside.
She's like, yo, let's put a pin in this for a minute.
Right.
We have to wait while the camera crew sets up.
I know how movies work. But sometimes it's just so funny.
Guys, are movies just dumb? Like, as a concept?
For the most part.
Some of them are dumber than others.
Most of what people make is pretty dumb.
Most things people do are dumb, I think. I'm just going to go down for a while.
This is the half measure thing, and part of this comes from this movie being filmed over 40 years of time. Is the fact that like an edit could have fixed that conversational
No, don't forget they never did any of the planned reshoots. They did some reshoots at the very, like Disney paid for a few. Disney paid for a small number of reshoots, but it was something like an eighth of the number of things they were going to reshoot when Fox was originally doing it.
Which they have the budget. I mean, ultimately this movie lost money, but
yeah. It absolutely did. So, all right. She sees the W for Witch branded on Maisie Williams' shoulder. She's like, that's some extreme body modification, bro. Like she thought she did it to herself.
Like she's Ed Hardy.
Right. Yeah, so the next day, Dr. Reyes spends some time meditating with the kids.
Dr. Reyes. Dr. Reyes.
And the entire time she's just saying, control.
And when she's not saying that, she's reminding you what trauma can do. Trauma can make you forget things. Trauma can make you do things. Trauma can make you afraid of things.
The way she was saying,
you're traumatizing me.
That made me so anxious.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't helping me meditate at all. Why do you keep saying that? So weird like that, too.
It's like someone who continuously tells you to stop talking.
Right.
Stop talking.
Or calm down. Calm down. Just calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the calm down over and over.
I'm already calm. You're not. Just calm down.
Chill
Why
out.
won't you calm down?
Frantically yelling to calm down.
Why won't you calm down?
Yeah. So later in the rec room, Rain is watching some Buffy. Let's see. First, I think it was Tabula Rasa, and then Hush were the two episodes they showed.
Nerds.
I may have watched.
Well, Hush had the creepy guys, right?
Yeah.
The spooky,
which was that was foreshadowing the
smiley face man.
So when she was watching Hush, it had the creepy guys that were foreshadowing the smiley face man. That was Ileana watching that. This point, it's I think it's Tabula Rasa that she's watching where Tara and Willow are kissing, foreshadowing the lesbian relationship that Maisie Williams is going to have.
Foreshadowing.
This is what they use their media like reference for. That's just really funny that both of those things were references to There were foreshadowing events that happened.
Yeah. So anyways, let's see. Ileana picks a fight with Danny. She calls her some racist names.
Yeah. She calls her Pocahontas when they first meet. We didn't even fucking mention that.
She calls her Standing Rock.
Yeah. Which is
at least she didn't call her Wounded Knee. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of a timely racist thing to say too.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Weird. It's not as dated as Pocahontas.
Yeah.
Look, I was watching some of the new Pinocchio last night with Tom Hanks.
Oh God.
And as a proud Italian American, I just want to say that there is still open season on us, whether you are a video game plumber or a toy maker. You can make anyone sound like this. And nobody wonders and nobody worry.
If you're from Europe, it's still fair game.
Yeah.
And Russians.
Oh, Europe. Oh, how
Yeah.
wait. No, I'm talking about the Italians.
But I mean, Scots and Irish people similarly.
It's anyone who's an honorary white, anyone who's considered a white person, we feel free to make fun of for some, like, without any sort of anything.
Yeah, it's true. Growing up, I never understood why Pollock jokes were
Right.
like, why are we picking on them so hard?
What did the Polish even do? Like, what? I don't know where that even came from.
Well, supposedly it came from like World War I, I believe. They'd never seen tanks before. The Germans, and every time there's a world war, it starts with Poland being invaded.
It starts with Germany fucking up Poland.
Yes, I know.
So I think any racist
Who controls
jokes.
the jokes?
I don't think Germans are allowed to come up with racist jokes anymore, guys.
I don't think so, but boy, do they.
All right. So they start to physically fight. Ileana pulls out her magic arm sword, gets broken up by Dr. Reyes.
Is that because she's related to Colossus, the metal arm?
Yeah, that's Colossus's sister. So I
don't think it was because her mutant power was the teleportation, and then she learned the magic when she was in limbo. I don't know if they were trying to say that the armor was related to Colossus.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't
but
so.
After she created the soul sword, it was the soul sword that was creating the armor that progressively grew larger on her body. Eventually it would
you really need to see a doctor about that if it's getting progressively bigger on your body.
If your soul sword starts to
Before you go full Optimus Prime.
See a doctor. If your dick remains a robot for more than 4 hours.
Hey, you got something special going on then.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah.
So it's broken up by Dr. Reyes, who we discover is a mutant as well and controls the force fields.
It's kind of like a Sue Storm, I can make bubbles.
Yeah.
Minus the invisibility thing.
Yeah.
She can project them, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, so she can do the things. We've got the Human Torch here. We've got half of the Fantastic Four.
There's a handful of powers, and Stan Lee and others just spent decades of modifying them all.
You're like, what if
like Al was saying, how many fire people?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like
and that's fine. That's a useful power in almost any situation. I love the ones that like just the technophiles or just the I can control speak and spell.
Yeah, what did a techno guy do, like if he was born in like the 1600s?
Right. Yeah, churning butter without even standing up. Yeah. Like that motherfucker.
I can control a pulley.
Oh, what, my lord? I'll mill all of your grain, and you won't even fucking believe it.
So yeah, Danny and Ileana both get put in solitary confinement. Ileana has a dream about faceless men with smiley face masks coming to get her. As she sees herself as a little girl. Danny,
she was obviously a sex trafficking victim. Yeah, so the faceless men.
Yeah.
defense
Yeah, well,
mechanism.
yeah, and the faceless dudes are all dressed like Slavs going to a disco.
I was thinking Japanese businessmen because they're wearing
Jumpsuit.
like suits.
Yeah.
But
suits. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So Danny wakes up and it's snowing blood in her cell. She sees the face of a giant bear. Dr. Reyes finds her covered in blood. The computer tells her, Dr. Reyes, to take blood samples from Danny to try and figure out what her powers are.
That scene had the faces coming out of the wall that we saw in the trailer cut out of it.
Yes.
Which is really disappointing to me because that shit scared the hell out of me in what's it called, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right. It was a direct homage to Nightmare on Elm Street. They said they filmed it the same way as Wes Craven did by having sheets that they simply had people press up against.
Yeah, just latex that you paint basically.
Yeah.
Or that's colored.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really disappointing to drop one of the most like scary images from this movie completely.
Yeah, absolutely. So
he was told to tone down the horror.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, again, Brian, you were right. Like he probably fired the gun, but they had to cut it.
Yep. Rain goes to the chapel. She confesses to herself.
Yeah, and gives herself her own penance.
I know.
That's convenient.
That was
That would save
cute.
a lot of time.
Yeah.
What the hell is this hospital and why is there a functioning church that's like still maintained and there's only one
grounds.
lady?
No.
Every hospital has a chapel.
But I mean, like you would think the chaplain would show up and, light a candle every once in a while and sweep the
Right.
floor.
Well, ostensibly, Reyes is the only one there. But yeah, I'm with you. This hospital is very old and out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term, we don't quite know where it is.
They could have told us it was a mind prison at the end and I would have believed them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because it was so empty. No one delivered food. No one.
The
Right.
Brazilian kid cooks and does all of the dishes, by the way.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, but a good point. Yeah. When does the Cisco truck come with
Yeah.
all of the food for the? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, it's very empty. Empty to the point that I really
it's
thought
out of space and time. We're
Which
not
I-
sure where it is.
I wish they had done something with
Yeah.
to make us think like, oh, is this really happening? Or is that part of her powers? Something. That's why this place is so empty.
Yeah, but yeah, I also was with you on that, Brian. I was wondering if it was going to end up being a mind prison, but
Shutter Island, basically, right?
yeah. So
The Shining, as
Yeah.
we were talking about before.
yeah. So all right. Yeah. So she hears something coming into the church. She hears the voice of the priest that abused her yelling at her about being a witch. She flees the church. That night, after Reyes goes to sleep, or the kids think she goes to sleep, they all head up to the attic where they don't want you to forget about me.
Hey.
They
Smoking cigarettes and I don't know,
playing Truth or
drinking
Truth.
soda pop.
Yeah, playing Truth or Truth. They get to know each other. They talk about their pasts again, seemingly for the first time.
This is the lie detector scene, right?
Yeah.
They have a literal lie detector.
Yes. Danny tells them about her bear necklace. She repeats the proverb we heard at the beginning of the movie, in case we missed it.
So it happens 3 times? Did I miss that one? I'm even more mad about it.
Yeah, it happens multiple times.
At this point, she only mentions one bear, not 2.
That's right. She said there's a bear inside you, and
That feeds on fear.
yeah.
But think of how many times, hundreds of times, we've heard there's a darkness inside you, and it feeds off of fear.
Oh yeah, it's yeah, for sure. So all right. Then Ileana tells them she killed 18 men who abused her as a child. The next night, Ileana. So like they do that, then they have it cuts to a training section the next day. Then it cuts to the next night where Ileana spiked Reyes's tea. So she passes out.
Real quick, when she's strapped into the lie detector, she says she killed 18 men with her sword and Lockheed.
Yes.
Which at this point we just think is a puppet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And proclaims herself the most powerful mutant there.
Yeah. I mean, she might be.
I think arguably, yeah, she can teleport to another dimension.
Yeah. The next night, Ileana spikes Reyes' tea, so she passes out. And the kids do what kids do, which is have an impromptu dance party in the halls.
This hospital,
That is what kids do?
with a staff of one, had the drugs not under lock and key, I guess? Or did she come with the roofies?
I would imagine
those tambourines should have been locked up too.
Yeah, they party with tambourines.
Tambourines should be.
I can't tell
They should
you.
be treated like handguns.
I can't tell you
Seriously.
how many. I can't tell you how many keggers I've been to where everyone's just going crazy with the tambourine.
Just tambourine fights. Everybody turns their car headlights on and there's a tambourine fight.
I forgot about the tambourine. What a weird instrument to just have in this movie.
No, but it's a mental hospital, possibly for the criminally insane.
Those are therapeutic tambourines.
Yes, you can picture a bunch of individuals in a circle.
Service,
right?
Service.
Prescription only. That's why they need to be locked up.
But the thing with the tambourine is a tambourine is a relatively dangerous instrument in the hands of someone who wants to use it for violence.
It is. You can you could jangle
4 or
someone.
5 sharp edges.
You can jangle someone to death.
You could literally smash it into somebody and really hurt them. It was
With
a
one
weird
hand
instrument.
waving free, you could kill some motherfuckers.
Prescription tambourines.
Stomping with your other foot, making a song.
Ambo
out of it.
urine.
They're
Ambo urine, man.
They're service tambourines. You need to put a vest on them if you're going to take them to the supermarket.
Or did Sunspot bring that with him? Is that like one of his? Is that like a samba tambourine?
So, all
I'm
right.
not supposed to get my tambourine wet. Prescription.
So, yeah, Danny and Rain sneak outside through the vents and watch the force field twinkle in the night. They
Die Hard. We have a Die Hard reference.
Yes. I have to say, at
Alien.
least these vents were dusty. At least they put a sheen of dust on the inside of these vents.
Well, and the vent thing paid off.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't just use the vents to get somewhere. The vent thing did something in the story later on.
Yes.
They found Chang living in there.
So yeah, they kiss, they talk. Bobby finds Ileana swimming in the pool. He joins her and they make out, but then she turns into the burning corpse of his ex-girlfriend.
Again.
So I have a question about this manifestation of the power. So it's your worst nightmare, right? Your greatest fear.
Yeah.
But this one shows up as Ileana. And then becomes the girlfriend. It's just a weird, how does this power work?
It's like a Pennywise trick.
Yeah. The power is tricking him into thinking that it's this other girl. Instead of it being his girlfriend in the pool and him being like, hey, babe, you're dead. This is freaking me out.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was a weird choice.
That is true. But part of his fear was also like that. So again, with the teenage metaphors, is that because he was the one that was portrayed as being, very sexually interested in things, is that sex, then the people I'm sexually interested in will lead to death. I wonder.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That he's afraid of.
He's afraid of
doing
sex
the same
as much
thing.
as just the girlfriend that he burned up. Yeah.
Yeah. There were 2 deleted scenes with this character trying to get fresh with Danny and Ileana. One of them he's tanning under his chin, which is hilarious. I was like, is that a Brazilian thing? Tanning your neck, I guess.
But also it was never not cloudy where they were.
But I guess his power, he absorbs the sun. So it makes sense in that way. But it was just weird. What was that guy's name? George, the really tan guy?
Hamilton?
Oh, George Hamilton. Yeah.
He looks like George Hamilton, basically. But she says to him, don't speak to me. as she walks away, he goes, "You never said I couldn't look," which I'm so glad they cut that.
Oh God.
But then I was going to say, he tries to come on to Danny, and Danny's like, "You're not my type." And he goes, "I'm everyone's type."
Yeah, there's 5 of us. Yeah. Just looking over Mr. Sinister's powers again. They obviously, it's Danny is the explanation you get because Mr. Sinister isn't there, but the projection of everyone's fears is absolutely something he did and can do.
Which is weird.
It would have made a lot more sense, but
yeah, why would he say kill this person? Like, I wonder if there's an in-universe plan that they might have had, like, stewing in the background, like, oh, we should have Sinister be the one that gives the order. But you would think that he'd be like, oh yeah, another one, dope, because that is illusions and things.
But he was also a geneticist, so like he would take DNA from mutants. Yeah. I don't know. I do like how often the movie, without even bringing attention to it, makes you think they are talking about Xavier at different times.
Yes, when
like in the beginning, like my associate or my employer can find mutants, and then later on, a school mentioning the school, and we can help you.
Well, and this is a particular place for particularly dangerous mutants.
Mm-hmm.
Where we help you figure out how to use your powers in safety before you go to this other.
Well, that's the front, but essentially it's a place where mutants get scooped to be experimented upon by this other mutant.
Yeah.
Never go to a third location.
With a mutant? Never, ever.
Never. They speculate Reyes works for Professor X. Then the fire alarm goes off after Bobby is freaking out, turning himself into a human torch, wakes up Reyes, draws all the kids back to the pool room. Also, that's a very well-maintained pool for one. Was she cleaning the pool?
Yeah, that's a motherfucker of a task.
Right.
The former pool owner. God, hated it.
Yeah, cleaning a pool is a full-time job.
Yeah, it's daily, and
who was doing that?
Yeah, that's exactly that was what I was getting at. Yeah, and you guys had mentioned earlier, right?
The pool should have been
behind the scenes maintaining these things.
The pool should have
been green.
The church should have been full of cobwebs. Oh, that would have been great to have him think the pool is clean and then be like, "Oh God,
it's all
this green."
Oh yeah, that's thing. But you're right about
it's full of dead stink bugs.
The whole place should have looked run down. God.
Yeah, you're right. That's the odd thing about the chapel. Not that it existed, but that it seemed to be in use, indicating there was a father or a pastor or a deacon or something.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right.
Do we know what
illusions, Michael?
We know what country we're in?
What country we're in?
No, we don't know where this is.
It's
just
it all
20
feels,
miles from a town.
It all feels
very unclear.
It all feels Canadian, but I've come to associate the X-Men with Canada in general, mostly because of Logan or Wolverine.
Well,
we found out
the Canadians fought for their civil rights. So long.
The Canadian, the safe space, like what's it called? Handmaid's Tale kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
You know? Canada's our place to run away to. Mexico's more dangerous and allows experimentation on mutants.
I mean, which is too bad because Canada, I can't deal with Canadian weather.
No.
Give it another 20 years. It'll be nice and
yeah,
balmy.
that's true.
Yikes.
So, all right. The whole thing was a manifestation of or an illusion. Ileana fights with Reyes, and Reyes puts the facility in lockdown.
Real quick, Dr. Reyes, when she rushes into the pool area, pushes him into the pool. The water level, it was a cool effect. I thought the water level dropped like 4 feet because it steamed off.
Yeah, that was cool.
Oh, yeah.
That was really clever.
Yeah.
Those little details are super clever. I wish the broom had melted. I wish that she had bubbled him into the pool.
Yeah, that would have made more sense. Yeah.
But yeah, whatever. Hitting him with a broom was for comedic effect was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, broom hits.
What are your powers? I hit people with a broom.
Well, we figured out who's been sweeping the church. Her superpower is broom
sweeping
use.
the legs. Yeah, I have night hearing. Dogs know where I point.
Yeah. So the next day, Reyes drugs Danny and puts her in a hypnotic state under the guise of helping her figure out her powers. She starts asking her about the night her dad dies. She remembers she was running from a demon bear. Then she has a vision of the kids from Logan in the Mexican hospital.
In the future.
Yes. That takes place in the future from now. That's like the 2030s or 40s?
Yeah. It's 2029, I think.
Okay.
At least it might be later, but yeah.
I think it was 10
magnetic
years.
cars, the hovering cars on the highway or trucks. Yeah. That is the future from now for sure.
Yeah.
She sees this lady's fear, right? That is the future, but she dies by bear. Spoiler alert. So that doesn't happen.
Homicide by bear.
Yeah. Has this Mr. Sinister been doing this for many, many years in the same installation? I don't know. I have so many questions about that.
Well,
weird choice.
His comic chronology spans many decades. Many.
Well, and he doesn't age, and he replaces himself with a lot of clones that he puts his brain into or whatever.
Like he gave powers to Jacob Shaw, who would become Sebastian Shaw's father, who then forms the Hellfire Club. So like he was around before all that shit, which is why John Hamm would have been a pretty awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you had made the comparison to Apocalypse, where Apocalypse, his existence kind of foretold the mutants and maybe manipulated mutants into becoming more common, whatever. But Sinister is doing it less organically and through science.
Yeah, I read just scrolling in the wiki that there was a storyline where he cloned Namor. Even the clone was called N2.
There's like an evil clone of Namor, right? And he
because Namor was the first mutant, quote. But Sinister had cloned him.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
So, all right. So, Danny comes and visits.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. There's one last thing about him. So he was sort of the opposite of Magneto in that way. Like, Magneto thought they needed to rise up and be sovereign, whereas Sinister had no problem experimenting upon them, making his own mutants, all that kind of, that lack of ethics.
Well, and similarly
Mengele kind of shit.
Similarly to Apocalypse, he is the alpha mutant.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like Doom, contingencies upon contingencies.
Omega level power. Yeah.
He's the villain in the Deadpool video game, which is an incredible game, and it's one of the funniest things ever because you're just fighting clones of all of the X-Men and all these different Marvel characters. And and you fight like hundreds of Mr. Sinisters. It's really fun.
So, all right. While she's having the vision about the kids from Logan, Ileana gets attacked by the Faceless Men. Reign's attacked by the dead priest. He brands her a second time with the W before her screams bring everyone running to her. Ileana accuses Danny of being responsible for all the nightmare visions. She attacks Danny, taking her to Limbo, but Danny turns her fear of the faceless smiling men on her and escapes. Ileana gets taken back to her room by Reyes. Later, Danny visits her, returning the Lockheed puppet to her. They talk. Ileana tells Danny about being abused by men when she was a child and how, in her mind, they're faceless smiling men. They bond, become friendly. Then Reyes gets a message on her computer that Danny is too dangerous and she must be killed. I tend to ignore those kinds of messages I get on my computer.
Yeah, they're like Windows updates. I'll get around. I'll murder her eventually. Can I reschedule it for 1 week from today?
4 hours. Aw. That's not
well, maybe what I'm going to do a restart anyway.
But then if you put it off too often, it just murders her without even asking you.
I think the choice to make her the antagonist was poorly conceived. I think that making her the bad guy didn't work, honestly. Her being the driving force behind the conflict at the end. I don't even know how to put it. It's
Mr. Sinister would have made more satisfying.
Or just the demon bear by itself.
Yeah.
And her being like, run away and getting killed by the demon bear, or
Run
something.
away!
Like, instead of being like,
It's a demon bear.
I'm going to kill all of you. Oh no, a demon bear. What? Like,
I'd be like, I would run if it was a regular bear, but thanks for the heads up.
Yeah. All you had to say was bear. I didn't need the demon indicator.
Run. I'll even fill in the blank of run if you just say bear. I trust bears.
Right. Yeah. Just say bear. That's all you got to do.
Bear is a complete sentence.
Yeah. So Danny tells Rain about her vision of the Logan babies, like Muppet babies.
Logan babies.
And that she doesn't think Reyes works for the X-Men, but for an evil corporation. It's Amazon. Then Reyes gets Danny and tells her they're going to run some more tests. Rain wants to be there, but Reyes tells her no. Reyes straps Danny down on a gurney. Danny's panic causes her powers to go haywire. Ileana and Sam get attacked by the Smiling Men while Roberto tries to break through the hospital's outer barrier, which has gotten smaller. Danny uses her powers and figures out that Reyes is going to kill her. Rain arrives. She's just half wolfed. She's gone half dog mode.
Yeah, so it's
a little wolfy.
It's a spectrum, which is interesting because she is a wolf at one point in the movie, and then she is a she-wolf.
Wolfiality is a spectrum. It's true.
Yeah. It is.
It's true.
Yeah, it's a difficult diagnosis, lycanthropy.
It's not unlike the bear to twink spectrum.
It's not unlike that.
What if it was a demon twink that she was seeing instead of a demon bear?
Just Jared Kushner.
Demon bear. Just fucking jean shorts.
Just like, hello.
My name's Carl.
The final battle between the demon bear and the demon twink.
Just hairy.
Everybody wins.
Torn jean shorts. Yeah.
All right, so
I'd watch that movie. Wait.
I'd like to direct you to a website then if you're interested, Brian. It's called
I'll Google it.
It's called
I'm sure I'll find it.
Yeah.
You can find out why he's wearing those jean shorts.
Demon twink, demon bear fight.
So all right. Let's see. Rain arrives. She fights Reyes. Reyes runs away. The kids meet up and they go to Reyes' office. They realize that Reyes was training them to be assassins for Essex, and that to escape, they have to kill Reyes to bring down the force fields. They find her, and she warns them that Danny's too powerful and will destroy them all. Reyes traps them all in tiny little force fields. She tries to kill Danny by suffocating her, making the force field smaller and smaller. The demon bear is unleashed. He shows up. And eats Reyes. Reyes gets eaten by the bear.
And just like that, she's out of the picture.
Yeah. And Danny is unconscious.
Some days you eat the bar. Some days the bar eats you.
That's true.
The demon bar.
Mm-hmm.
So Rain is trying to get through Danny's subconscious, urging her to wake up. Ileana uses her powers. She goes to limbo, gets the sword and armor, and a actual tiny purple dragon, a living, breathing Lockheed. They fight the demon bear. Sam and Roberto join in the fight.
When Lockheed showed up, it felt like Avengers Endgame when the portals start to open.
Yeah. It was triumphant.
Yes, there's a dragon in this fucking movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. I
They did
enjoyed
that well.
Yeah. So then Danny wakes up and calms down the bear. And the bear
Just tells it, no.
The bear's like, no one's ever said no before. That's all you have to do, guys.
Like, usually all I get is screaming. This is different.
Sun's getting real low.
So I watched a YouTube video on, there's this dude, Nando V Movies, and he does like rewrites and like fan casting things. They're entertaining when I make food. But he talked about this. This movie is bookended by a parable about two bears.
Two bears.
I would have loved for another bear to show up and be like, no, dog, I've been feeding this bear with all of the friends I made along the way. To me, that would have been a better use of bear imagery according to our theme about two bears.
Goldilocks.
I'm eating two of them.
They-
a bigger, happier bear or a meaner bear or something.
A Yogi Bear.
But just like this mean bear is now sleepy. Thanks for saving us.
So you wanted a Care Bear, essentially,
I would have loved a Care Bear. Oh my God.
with their mutant powers on their bellies.
Wouldn't that have been interesting though? Like some fucking goofy Winnie the Pooh looking animated bear being like,
That-
oh, fucking
That
dumb
would
bear.
I
don't
could have gone for that.
I don't understand the question, Your Honor.
I think they were trying to make it the metaphor that she had been feeding it fear and now she changed to
Feeding
feeding
it
it.
cupcakes.
But it was one bear.
Yeah,
That was
the two bears
Those
are actually one
two
bear.
mouse.
No. Well,
Fell into
I think
a
it's
bucket of
important
brains.
for our listeners that I make it a point of saying don't feed bears. Just
No, man. No,
Yeah.
don't trust bears. I've
Unless
said
you
that
want to get mauled
for
by a
years.
bear.
Yeah, do not.
That's your particular kink.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Otherwise, don't trust a fucking bear. They can be anywhere. They live in almost any climate.
they do. There was a bear in Tucson not that long ago that was wandering
There's a
around.
few bears, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, don't feed a bear.
Few. As if there's like I can name the bear crew. There's a good amount of bears.
There's
But,
Carlos,
Yeah. Yeah. The bears. Yeah.
BJ,
Yep, that's right.
BJ, and
BJ and the bear.
yeah. All right. So, day breaks, and the group decides to head out on the road to see. They're going to take it on the road to see what happens. Reroll credits.
Coming along, there's a song that we're singing.
So we got our Breakfast Club moment. Reyes, the dome lady, the dome queen, she was asleep.
Totally different woman, trust me.
Her powers,
Dome Queen.
I don't know if they work while she's asleep, but they probably could have just left.
I mean, apparently they did because they were watching the dome twinkle while she was asleep. When,
Oh, that's true.
yeah. So apparently the dome's up even when she's out.
It's magic.
And she gives good dome no matter what.
That's a mighty good dome.
No
Yeah.
questions. Just
Yeah. So that's it.
And this is the end of our X-Men universe.
The 13th and final X universe movie. Yep.
for
13.
now.
Oh my God, there are
It
more
was-
X-Men movies than Star Wars movies.
Oh, God,
That's
yeah.
insane.
Yeah. And they all came out since the prequels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, despite everything, I would have been interested in a follow up to this.
Absolutely.
Same. Yeah.
Same.
I
Good group of characters.
I enjoyed
It's a
it.
real good group.
I enjoyed it more than I was expecting to. More than a lot of people apparently did, but yeah.
But yeah,
This-
it definitely felt like it was setting something up. It's not just I could have seen a sequel like that.
Yeah.
But there should have been. There should have been.
It'll be interesting how the MCU brings the X-Men in, and if they decide to triage, the entire existing X-Men universe, or just leave it behind.
We've already seen. We saw the little blurb on the computer screen in She-Hulk. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, they definitely plan. It's going to be interesting to see if they pick and choose anything from actors or storylines from the X universe. Deadpool is the with Ryan Reynolds
supposedly.
is coming over.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be tons of fourth wall winking, but
I think that will be how they handle that, honestly. Is with the Deadpool movie and him having the ability to travel through time.
yeah, I feel like they could recast everybody else. You know, like that's fine if they want to do.
yeah, I mean, I like Fassbender and
that. So do I.
the bear, whatever his name is. Who's the other McAvoy? Fassbender and McAvoy, fine, but yeah, I'm not like tied to them.
Does that make Fassbender the twink?
No,
No, I think McAvoy's the twink and Fassbender's the bear.
always got to be the twink.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's about it. I don't know. Final thoughts, guys.
Nope.
All
Just wanted to see Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, I mean, they should
John
have
Hamm's
just
big dumb
paid off
chin.
some stuff.
Well, I think it's time we rank it then, fellas. I'm kind of looking here towards this area feels right to me, but I'm willing to discuss and move up or down. I'm kind of looking at the low to mid 70s. We've got
Where's Spirit of Vengeance?
Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Wow,
Because I
forgot.
liked Ghost Rider as bad as it was. This movie, I am full of complaints about it, but it wasn't a bad movie. It just had a bunch of stuff I didn't like in it.
Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance is at number 60. We've got that up right around, let's see, we've got Super, Chronicle, Mystery Men, Man of Steel, Green Hornet, Incredible Hulk, all in that range.
Yeah, was this better than Buffy?
I mean, Buffy wasn't really a great movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, the only thing that makes it memorable is what happened to it after the movie.
Well, what about the Rocketeer and Darkman?
Surprised the Green Hornets above some
Around
of those.
Constantine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels.
Sure.
I can see that.
I think the Green Hornet just succeeded at making us laugh. and being
Christoph
silly.
Waltz was 90% of why I liked the Green Hornet.
And just the dude fucking up, what's his name? Seth Rogen.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, I could see somewhere around there, mid 60s.
Yeah.
Sure.
Al, you suggested around Constantine, so that's
Yeah.
I think. All right.
Above or below Constantine.
I personally kind of liked it a little more than Constantine, but there were things about Constantine that I think maybe were better. I don't know.
I think as a comic book movie, Constantine was better.
We'll stick it below. We'll put it at number 67,
All right.
in between Constantine and the Rocketeer.
A fine
Between
spot
two
indeed.
bears.
Between two bears.
And that is it for the New Mutants. Next week, we're not going to do a superhero movie because next week begins our Spooktober series, which is
Kind of cool how the horror comic
Yeah.
book or horror superhero movie kind of fell right here.
yeah.
Yeah. Good call.
So next week, it'll be a surprise. We'll tell you what it'll be when we get there. But for the next 4 weeks, we're going to be doing horror movies in honor of the Spooktober. Each of us are going to pick one, and we're going to do one a week all through October. So
Oh yeah.
look forward to that next week. The next 4 weeks, taking a break from our normal, regularly scheduled program. So we'll see you then, guys. Until then, this has been your host, Throw Smiley, reminding you that even though demons can't come in churches, priests sometimes do.
Yes. I'm Josh Cece, and I'm a nympho, maybe, hopefully.
I'm Brian Lesh, and I'm going to try and get a job at this hospital or church.
And I'm your cuddly little fear bear, Alaric Weber.
Your bear.
We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.
But